from the press, but before I do, let me just try to bring this home here because it is very easy and very fun to criticize the record of Kamala Harris, but we also have to remind ourselves that we don't just have a vision on the Trump campaign. We don't just have a bunch of promises on the Trump campaign. We have got 4 years of Donald Trump's successful leadership that brought public safety to our streets, and that is something to celebrate and look forward to. So here is President Trump's solemn promise to our law enforcement community and all of us who benefit from their sacrifices and their public safety. It is simple. We are going to end sanctuary cities in this country. We're going to bring back pro-law enforcement cities. We are going to deport the violent, illegal aliens that have come into this country over the last few years. No more free rides, no more amnesty. We're going to support the death penalty for drug dealers because they kill far more people than some of the most violent and vicious criminals. We have got to have real penalties for people who are killing our kids and poisoning our communities. We're going to protect police from frivolous lawsuits. You hear President Trump talk about that? The reason that it's so hard for the police to do their job sometimes is they know if they do their job, they're going to get sued for it. We're going to protect them from those lawsuits and make it easier for our police to do their jobs. And finally, we're going to stand up to soft-on-crime prosecutors. If a police officer does their job and brings in a bad guy, we need some prosecutors who actually lock those people up and put them behind bars. It's common sense. All this stuff is just simple common sense. Now, we know what happens when we don't have leadership who support our law enforcement. We saw it in Kenosha just a few years ago. You all know this better than I do, that 4 years ago, Kenosha had terrible riots after a police shooting. And who was it? Who was the president of the United States that promised that he would send in law enforcement if asked? That was Donald Trump. Who was it that pacified the streets of Wisconsin and ensured that those riots didn't spiral out of control and burn down the entire city? That was President Donald J. Trump. And, of course, we know the governor didn't initially want the support from President Trump, but after a couple days of those riots, he relented and did the smart thing and allowed President Trump to send federal support. Without that, I really think that Kenosha would still be recovering from those terrible riots today. But today, look, we're in a beautiful place, and it's a beautiful town, and we can thank President Trump's leadership and also the law enforcement who did their jobs and did it well. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Now, I will always have the back of law enforcement.